What's up, everybody? I'm ChazzCoin doing ChazzCoin Tech Talks, and let's jump into what is Bitcoin. I know that plenty of people know what Bitcoin is. Plenty of people don't know what Bitcoin is. Some people think they do. Some people have general understanding of it. There's all kinds of things that go on, and I want to break down the macro to the little bit of a micro, not too deep, but deep enough that you see the concepts start to break out and kind of what it's built up of, because Bitcoin is a multitude of things that came together to make something bigger than what it is. So let's jump on over to my web browser view, and so Bitcoin, and you see here, this is just kind of a breakdown. This is coin market cap. Go back and forth on what you like better, CoinGecko or whatever, but that's not the video today. Let's just chat about Bitcoin, and you can see there's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there in the world. All right, so Bitcoin's not the only one. It's just the first and the biggest and the best, in the sense of like it's the dominant one. And let's just go ahead and make sure this is clear when I say it's the best. It's only the best because it's the top dog. It runs the show. I have 0 Bitcoin. I don't own any Bitcoin, period, actually. I'm a huge fan of some other projects, and I own a lot of coins and other projects, but not Bitcoin. But I still look and understand Bitcoin every day when it comes to trading and understanding where the overall cryptocurrency market is and where it's going in the future, and kind of where it's been. It's just the way it works, guys. Sorry, but it is more of an archaic technology, and it will become a more of a place where I think you do just store your value there, and that's really all it is, and it stops there. But that's for another day. Let's chat about what is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. It's a blockchain cryptocurrency. All right, so let's break that down. You have a blockchain. All right, this is what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is a software that's just running out there in the world on many computers. All right, so it's a blockchain and a cryptocurrency. All right, a blockchain is literally just a piece of paper of a ledger of all these transactions that take place. You're an accountant. You won't run a business. You sold $100,000 worth of merchandise today, where you're going to have every transaction written down on a log sheet on what product was sold, who did it sell to, and how much did it sell for, and etc. That's just a ledger, right? Just one-page ledger. Right? Well, a blockchain is, just think of it as each block would be a piece of paper of the ledger. Now, the ledger could be millions of lines long of every transaction that took place in that one segment between the two blocks. So all we do, and let's go ahead and go over to, I want to do this right here because I like this one. This first one right here, this little block, all the information goes into the ledger. It kind of prints this block out in code and gives it a fingerprint, a unique hash code. It's a unique identifier that can't be made again. All right, so it's like a fingerprint. So all the transactions go into this page. They put a little unique identifier on it, and then they say, all right, that one's done. It's immutable. It no longer can be changed ever again. Period. End of story. All right. Now, all transactions that take place going forward get put into another page, all right, which then gets put into a block. It gets its own unique identifier, and it also keeps the one from the previous block and says, that's the previous block ledger page. This is the new one with my fingerprint, and print. Once it prints, we're done. That's it. Then we go to the next one. And each transaction all gets put onto these blocks, and we have hundreds of thousands, if not, I gotta go double check on how many Bitcoin blocks have been created, but I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of blocks. I mean, they get made every couple of minutes. A new block is being made. And every cryptocurrency is like this. They have this underlying idea that they have a ledger that's immutable. All transactions go to this ledger. The ledger's online. You can see it. Technically, it's very, transparent. You can see every transaction that takes place. It's just numbers, So you don't have like, ChazzCoin sent 100 Bitcoin. No, it's just going to be this address sent 100 Bitcoin. But you can see every transaction. You can see everything that the Bitcoin system is doing. It is transparent out there on the web right now, and each block holds each transaction list. So you have an entire history since 2009 of every block that took place and every transaction that took place. All right? So that's what blockchain is. That's literally all blockchain is. It's just a grouping, a locking of blocks of information in ledgers. All right? It's also a cryptocurrency. Well, cryptocurrency is actually two words combined into one. Cryptography, cryptography, and then currency. Everybody knows what currency is. Let's talk about currency. Currency is just a value, it's just an exchange of value. It's just something that we say, you have the dollar, which is a fiat currency, which just means that it's backed by the US government, and it's not backed by like gold or something like that. It's just backed by a government, and they say, hey, a dollar's worth a dollar, and we'll make sure it's worth a dollar, don't you worry. So that's what kind of a fiat currency is. It's a currency. It's just a way of saying I have value in my hand, and it's worth this X amount, and I need to trade it to someone else. So Bitcoin in itself is a currency, therefore it's a value. It holds value. If you have one Bitcoin, that one Bitcoin, well, today it's worth $18,000. If you hold one Bitcoin, it's worth $18,000 US dollars. Now it can be worth different amounts in different currencies, like a euro, but it's a currency. You can exchange it and get value out of it. All right. So as you exchange this currency around, the blockchain is keeping track of every transaction that takes place. So that's how the two of these come together. A currency is exchanging of value. So I give you 100 Bitcoin, you give me a product in exchange. Well, the ledger puts into the blockchain that transaction that just took place, prints out that block, we move on to a new block. All right. Now let's get into cryptography. Why is it a cryptocurrency? All right. Well, cryptography is just essentially encryption and decryption. All right, it uses these algorithms that there's many different types of algorithms, and there's different types of way. And Bitcoin is called proof of work consensus algorithm, and that is the way that it encrypts and decrypts things and keeps it all secure. Essentially, how this works is that it uses cryptography, it uses these encryptions and these algorithms to encrypt all of the data so that no one can tamper with it. All right, so no one can double spend it, no one can access your account just by hacking into it. They need to know your private key. All right, so it gets a little confusing. This is the trickiest part, in my opinion. You get this public and private key. All right, your public key is your address. You give that out to people so they can send you cryptocurrency, so they can send you Bitcoin. All right, but then you have a private key, and you need to think of this as like your password. You don't want anybody to see your password, but you don't want anybody to see your secret key. All right, and that's why they call them a public key, because it's for the public, and you have a secret key because it's secret. So that's kind of how that works in the cryptography world. And this address is sitting on the blockchain. It's sitting on a ledger, and so when you access the network, it just pulls it from that ledger and accesses it. So you can see it from anywhere. You don't have to be on one particular service or in one particular place to get information about Bitcoin in your account. All right, and that's where the decentralization part comes into this. And I want to do a different video on decentralization, but the key part is there's the centralized web that sends all information through like an Amazon web server. All right, so Amazon is pretty much running majority of our internet. Google runs a lot of it, Microsoft runs a lot of it. So when you click on google.com, all your information from your computer and who you are goes through Google's server, and Google can see everything about you. All right, and then it lands in a Google server, and Google servers handle it. When it comes to blockchain, when you send a transaction through blockchain and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin are run by everybody, and they call them nodes. And this is funny to me that we call these things nodes and service. Really, it's just a person like me that has a computer at home, and I download this software on my computer, and I press run, and then boom, it starts validating transactions, and it holds the blockchain, and it runs Bitcoin. So there's just millions of people out there like me who are helping run the network. All right, so that way, if I go down and I crash and burn tomorrow, my whole home goes down, it doesn't matter. There's another million people that are also running the network that are also going to help out. So if Amazon goes down, you may lose Netflix in your region completely. It's happened. It happens all the time. All right, these outages always take place, and you're just going to have to get used to that. But when on the Bitcoin side and decentralization, when everybody's running these things, then essentially you don't have those outages, so as long as your internet is running, you're going to be directed to an ability to get into the Bitcoin network and get information and sign transactions to be able to send things back and forth. All right, so that's essentially what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's a currency. It's just a currency. It's a digital currency. It's an ability to have value stored digitally so that you can send it digitally, and you're not attached to any government or any different thing. Gold is very close to this because no one can really control gold to a certain extent. It can be manipulated. It is being manipulated because it's old and it can be gobbled up, and then the markets are kind of run by the old wigs, and this gets deep, but it's the same idea. So there's only a finite amount. You can't inflate it. It's deflationary in its extent that there will only be less of it and less of it as people gobble it up and consume it. And then there's also the big problem that when you die and no one has your private key, well, that Bitcoin's gone forever. No one can ever have it. This is not a bank account. You can't call customer support and say, hey, I forgot my secret key. There's no customer support. You forget your secret key. The Bitcoin's gone forever. And it's scary. I get that totally. I understand that. But it also allows you to get away from the powers that be. You're no longer under the regulation of a bank. You won't wake up one morning and just not have any money in your account because the bank said, sorry, we had to take it. The government came in and seized they garnished all your money out of your bank account. Nothing we can do for you. You have a good day, okay? This happens to people every day. And you don't have to let it happen to you anymore with a cryptocurrency. I mean, that's kind of the way this is supposed to be going. Satoshi Nakamoto, who no one knows who this man is, it is a total... No one knows. You can debate. I actually think it's Hal Finney, but we could debate that one forever. This man in 2008, or this person, or this group, this woman, I don't want to be sexist here, in 2008 they realized that the financial crisis was really bad, and we're printing money out of control at this point, and we're inflating the US dollar, and it's not going to go well. The debt is doing nothing but rising. We're borrowing money from ourselves. It's becoming a global fiasco. He said we gotta get away from this. We gotta create a currency that's decentralized away from governments and blah blah blah. So that's essentially what he did. I mean, I really condensed that one, but essentially he wanted to get away from all of that. And so no one owns or runs Bitcoin in a sense. So it's off on its own, and it can't really be manipulated in the traditional ways, and it can't be inflated. You can't create more Bitcoins. You could mine them, but those were already going to exist, and once the mining's over, which I don't think it can technically ever end because it just keeps halving itself, but like when all the coins have been mined, that's it. You can't mine anymore, period. So it's pretty much deflationary. You'll always have less circulating in the end than you will have more because you can't keep putting more in. The U.S. government just keeps printing more dollars to put into the system, so you'll always have more dollars, which means that your dollar will be worth a little bit less every time they do it. And I can prove this in many different ways, but just movie tickets. There's the biggest proof of our lives, So that's what Bitcoin is. It's a digital currency. It's decentralized so that no one runs it, controls it, owns it. No one can manipulate it. No one can create more Bitcoin. It's backed by cryptography, which is just a way to kind of encrypt and jumble everything up to make it to where no one can understand it and understand what you have and where it is coming from, and only you can have access to it. And then they put this on an immutable ledger so that it's sitting on computers everywhere across the world for anybody to access and see. It's really a cool system, and I hope that I didn't get too deep and too confusing, but if anything, just understand that it is a cryptocurrency, or it is a digital money or a digital form of value that you can exchange across the globe, and it's not tied to anyone or anything, which is really important when you understand currencies, because currencies are always backed by something, and Bitcoin's not backed by anything in the traditional sense. So I hope that that was informative for you. Thanks for checking it out. I'm going to do another video on what is Ethereum and what is XRP, and probably a couple other ones after that, but those are the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP are all cryptocurrencies, but they're not all three the same by any means. They all do different things, and they all are attacking different kind of, problems in the world. And Bitcoin's problem is the decentralization of money and digitizing money and bringing value and money to the internet, and having an alternative source of storing value. That's the real main push, in my opinion, for what they're pushing for. So That's Bitcoin. It ain't running by anybody. It's a digital currency. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come check out what Ethereum and XRP is next and some of my own videos. I'm ChazzCoin, and this is Tech Talks with ChazzCoin. Thanks, I appreciate it.